Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his ever-trusty sidekick.
Hello.
And today we're going to be having a look at mounted Agincourt knights. I have a few already assembled here, which I will move out of the way.
I'm really annoyed when you said that.
Why?
Because you said mounted Agincourt knights. And I was reading it, so I was expecting to say Agincourt mounted knights.
Well, they're mounted Agincourt knights. Well, they're not just for Agincourt, they're 100 Years' War knights. They're the knights that hung around until oh, I can't get in, I can't be bothered. Then the knights hanging around until you get to the sort of War of the Roses. By War of the Roses, knights had up-armoured a bit, and also kind of down-armoured, but they changed the shapes of the armour and added bits to protect their groinal area and their thighs, because it was mainly fought in England, and the English are really good at killing people on horses and stuff, so, you know. Anyway, these guys are French, but they don't have to be, they can also be English. Have a look at the back. Some Frenchmen on the back. Never mind.
Oh no, they've got shoulder pads.
No, they're not as bad as you might think. So, these are the Agincourt knights. The horses are the exact same horses that we've already done many unboxing videos on, because they're the same horses as the light cavalry and the same horses as the knights from the War of the Roses.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're the same horses. I'm not even going to bother mentioning them because there they are. They're done. They're finished. Right, so these are the sprues, and I'll get rid of all of these. I've got loads of sprues knocking around. Right. These are the sprues, and you have quite a lot to choose from.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you've got quite a few bodies. You're going to be using all these, and not that one, because that there is for a Englishman with a bow. Basically, it's this guy. Englishman with a bow.
Right.
There, it's got a bow, it's all wrapped up, it's carrying it, got some spare stuff, it's sort of riding along. And all these guys are for the knights, and we have pointy stick to hit people with, and another pointy stick. In fact, this is a pointy stick heavy box. Lots of pointy sticks, and we also have some nice close combat weapons as well. Swords, which are, I presume he's lost everything he's got to be relying on a sword to defend himself. God, the guy's stuffed at that point. And lots of other stuff. We've got some arrows inside a bag, which is nice.
To be fair, in the movie I just watched The King, all the British knights had them.
Yes. Yeah, any idiot who goes into a battle with just a sword is dead.
In one of the clips, the guy lifts the knight's visor and just throws his axe in his face.
Yeah, that's how you fight. That's it.
And then he gets run over by a horse.
There was a guy at Agincourt who was actually trampled by horse. He was trampled by a number of French horses and still got up and walked off. And I've seen that happen at a event. A guy, it was a jousting thing, and the guy fell off, and the horse ran over him. And he just got up. He was fine because he's in knight's armour, and it's very hard to hurt someone in knight's armour. So we've got a bit of chainmail knocking around, so I'm presuming that is for an English knight. And everything else, because the French didn't go in for wearing armour on their horses, because it was illegal to kill a horse in France, unlike England, where they're called lunch. Yeah, that's about it. So, what do you think?
We were a very barbaric army back then.
What, the English?
Yep.
Well, how about the French not letting people eat burgers? And what's that about? What's it got against burgers? It's like the Romans banning sausages. What sort of country bans sausages?
Only in the central city of Rome.
Only in Rome, yeah. The sausages were legal in Rome. You could carry a battle axe, sword, mace, catapult, full body armour, but if you think you can get into the city with a sausage, I'm sorry. Rome didn't fall then either. Maybe that's the sign of civilization, banning sausages. I don't know. Right, so that's the guys. Got a lot of bodies to choose from, so you got a lot of different things to do. And being French, they're all going to be wearing a silly tabard, which is a nice, colourful tabard. This colourful thing here, so you can see who they are. And the reason they wear the tabard is so you can recognise them on the battlefield. Of course, to an Englishman, it just makes you look like you're not an Englishman, therefore they can attack you. But for the French, they used to have people who would sit around the battlefield, scribes, and they would have lists of colours of knights, and then like a board next to a chart next to it. And if they saw the knight being a coward, they put a mark next to him. French knight wasn't fighting properly, you know. And oh, he managed to hit an Englishman now, give him an extra point, that kind of thing. Wasn't actually that extreme, but that did happen. So there he is. That's another Frenchman. These Frenchmen have shields. You know, the English didn't use shields at all. They didn't need a shield. You're in armour. What are you wearing a shield for? So the idiot wears a shield. So these were often slung on the back, normally. But if you were jousting, or if you were going against people with lances, then you had the shield to try and deflect the lance. That's the idea. The English, they did have lances, but they didn't fight with them. Unless they were fighting infantry. Then they could stab the infantryman who was really far away. But if they were fighting French knights, they just dismount.
Why don't we just use phalanx?
What?
Why don't we just use phalanx back then?
Why didn't we use phalanx?
Yeah.
Well, because the phalanx is for Greeks.
That's great and all. But against cavalry, it's really like, you just win. You just instantly win.
But you don't need a phalanx.
But loads of soldiers died. That stupid tactic that we had for Agincourt.
No, because the horse isn't actually going to kill you. He'll run you over.
That's great, but you're going to suffocate down there.
Well, no, you form a square. Yeah, actually, this guy, he's actually got the shield on his back. I didn't even know I'd done that. I'd actually done it. This guy looks very good, doesn't he? This is clearly a very high-ranking knight, this guy. He's got gold.
Like, why didn't we just stick spikes in the ground?
We did.
The main army didn't.
We did.
The main army just took it as a distraction.
No, because you want the enemy to go to one place, so you put spikes on the battlefield where you don't want the enemy to go.
No.
And that way all the French go to the place you want them to. So you can let their horses in, cut their horses' legs off, and then hack the knights to death.
And then the king with no armour runs in to kill them.
That's the film. In reality, the king wore armour.
No, the king wore armour. He didn't even wear a helmet.
That's a silly film.
He didn't wear a helmet.
Yes, you see, you've got a problem when you're filming films, because you can't actually recognise the character if they're all riding around with a faceplate on.
No wonder why his best mate died. He wasn't wearing a helmet either.
Yeah, that's the thing. So you have to have the... And also, you paid for this actor, you may as well see his face.
You may as well use him.
Yeah, so... You know,
where's the king? He's one of them.
Otherwise, you just get the guy who normally holds the boom mic to put the helmet on and run around. You film him. This is an English knight. As you can see, he's wearing a very heavily armoured horse. He's got the horse wearing chainmail, heavily armoured, typical English knight. Because he's not going in for having his horse getting killed. He's not in for that at all. No. His horse costs money. You know. They're expensive horses in England. So he has armour on his horse. And we have another English knight here. The English knights didn't wear tabards. Maybe the odd person might, if they were an officer.
No, because if you were in the army, then you were united under one flag.
Yes, you're English. And
so you didn't need colours.
You didn't carry colours at all. Or any identifying marks really, other than, as I said, the occasional officer would have a tabard, but the tabard would simply have the cross on it.
I did notice in the film King that when he was in France, even the king didn't have any of his colours on, just normal armour.
Yeah.
But when he was in Britain, fighting against Percy, they wore the
full household colours.
Yes. Colours.
Yeah, you wore full household colours well in England, but English knights were banned. English troops were banned from wearing uniform. Any form of the uniform other than white when outside England. Yeah, so that's how it works. So, well, that's about it really. That's what they look like when they're assembled. And
so, by the looks of it, the French didn't go for wearing chainmail on their horses.
No.
No. Okay.
Why would you put chainmail on a horse?
I know, because in France,
no French knight is ever going to harm your horse.
Yeah.
No one would ever fire a bow at your horse.
Which is the army that used to ride up to them and then dismount before they fought.
Several.
Because they were fighting against us. That's how much I know. But what they used to do is run right up to us and then expect us to stand there while they dismount.
Oh, the Normans did that.
Right.
The Normans fought like that. They would ride up. That's why the shield is a kite shield. It cover the whole body and the leg, because they would ride right up to your enemy, not just the English, but whoever they were fighting, the Danes, whoever. And they would then throw a javelin, which would confuse the enemy, and then if the enemy didn't look too confused, they would ride away. And if they looked confused, they would dismount and then get an axe off the side of the horse, unwrap it, and then try and fight on foot.
Like how Harold Godwinson's men got a bit too bloodthirsty and ran down the hill.
It wasn't Godwinson's troops. It was the levy.
I thought it was the housecarls.
No, it was the levy. It was some of the local volunteers, the armsmen.
And then everyone followed them, and then everyone followed them,
Yeah.
and then everyone started running down the hill, and it turned out the cavalry went running away and ran us all over, and we all died.
Yes. Yeah, we lost the battle. But we only really lost because Harold got an arrow in the eye.
Or run over, or had his head cut off.
Depending on which version of the De Beer tapestry you believe. Because they didn't know either, so they put all three in. They probably walked around saying, "Did you see how he died? Yeah, I did. How did he die? Axe to the head. Really? What about you? Oh, cut his horse's legs off and it fell over and died. You? Arrow in the eye. Oh.
I don't know. Didn't they find his body?
No. I'm assuming that there were many people in posh armour who all died in those ways that we see, and all of them thought that was the English king. Because the Normans aren't going to recognise an English king, are they?
How was if he didn't die? He just ran off.
Because he would have carried on fighting and won.
Probably.
Because the Normans would not have conquered England without something like that. After all, didn't Godwinson's son become king for a short time? William didn't become king after Hastings.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Because he went all the way up to London slaughtering everyone.
No, well, he did, yes, he did do that. But I think we had... Godwinson's son was king for about 2 years, I think, or something like that, or a short amount of time.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
It's not all cut and dried, you know.
Right, is that it about the Agincourt Mountain Knights?
Yeah, that's the Agincourt Knights. They're alright, aren't they? I like them. I think they look great. They're just absolutely cool.
So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think of that Agincourt Mounted Knights.
I've got to mention something else, which I haven't mentioned. You get knights with sort of cloaks on the horses and stuff. Mm-hmm. They are earlier period to this.
Right. So
that's why the Agincourt Knights aren't like in some of the earlier films, wearing the big cloth things on the horses, because they didn't by this period at all. Just didn't happen.
Right.
So, there you go.
Well, that's everything from me.
And everything from him. Goodbye.
See ya.